Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talking with Tanya. I'm aiming to post once a week, but sometimes life happens and things don't always go as planned. I was feeling a bit off mentally, so I didn't get a chance to post last week. And while a lot of motivational advice says to push through and post anyways, I think there's a lot of value in taking a step back. Sometimes sitting with your emotions and giving yourself space to process can be just as powerful as pushing through, and you come back feeling more aligned and ready to give your best. Today, we're diving into something we all think we know about, or at least I did: electrolytes. Most of us hear about them in the context of working out, sweating a lot, or recovering after a night out. I think that may be the first time I've actually heard about them. Maybe a friend, family member, or coach has mentioned them, but how many of us actually know what they are, what they do for our bodies, or when we really need them? In this episode, I'm breaking it all down: what electrolytes are, why they're essential, and how to truly support your hydration. Let's learn how to hydrate with attention, nourish our bodies properly, and give ourselves the care we truly deserve to flourish. Okay, so let me share how I started thinking about this topic in the first place. One night I was getting ready for bed and decided to drink some water because I was feeling a little thirsty. But instead of a sip, I ended up just chugging it down. As I lay down, I started to feel nauseous, like my stomach was sloshing around with all that water, and I felt like I might throw up like water. Of course, I immediately started Googling. Now, let me say, I'm not a doctor, so definitely consult with a healthcare professional if you're feeling off. But since I'm relatively healthy, I figured it wasn't anything too serious. I just figured that I overdone it on the water. But as I kept searching, I came across something interesting: electrolyte imbalance. That got me thinking about how I started walking every day and playing basketball at the park a couple times a week. I was moving my body more than usual, and I hadn't considered how that might be affecting my electrolyte levels. So the next day, I decided to pick up some electrolyte supplements and started digging deeper. I wanted to know, do I really need the electrolytes? What exactly are they, and how can I tell if I'm not getting enough? For me, it's not just about slapping a quick fix on a problem. I want to understand the why behind what's happening in my body. That's why I'm sharing this information, because sometimes a small change in our routine can make a huge difference in how we feel every day. So let's break it down. What are electrolytes? Electrolytes are minerals that carry an electric charge, and they play a huge role in keeping us alive and well. They're not some mysterious separate category of nutrients, because I thought they were. They're actually just minerals that dissolve in water to create electrically charged particles called ions. Think of electrolytes like tiny sparks that keep the electricity flowing inside your body. They help everything communicate and work together, regulating some of your body's most essential functions, like balancing fluids, supporting nerve signaling, and making sure your muscles, including your heart, can contract properly. Some of the key electrolytes in our bodies include sodium, potassium, calcium, bicarbonate, magnesium, chloride, and phosphate. Even though these minerals might seem small, they're absolutely essential for things we take for granted every day, like having energy, thinking clearly, and moving our bodies with strength and coordination. So, how does this all work? Our bodies rely on tiny electrical impulses to send messages between the brain, nerves, and muscles. This process happens in special excitable cells, like nerve and muscle cells, that can generate electrical signals by moving ions like sodium and potassium across their membranes. When a signal needs to be sent, these ions rush in and out of the cells, creating an electrical pulse called an action potential. That pulse travels down nerve fibers like a wave, carrying instructions to different parts of the body. Without this system of electrical signals, our bodies wouldn't be able to function properly. We couldn't move, feel, or even stay alive. Electrolytes are essential because they help maintain the right fluid balance inside and outside your cells. They regulate vital functions like how much water stays in your body, how your muscles move, how your heart beats, and how your brain communicates with everything else. When your electrolyte levels are off, even slightly, your body can start sending distress signals like muscle cramps, dizziness, confusion, or irregular heartbeats. More extreme imbalances can lead to serious health problems. So when we talk about hydration, it's not just about water. It's about mineral balance, because electrolytes help power nearly every system in your body, and each one has a unique role to play. Sodium is one of the most well-known electrolytes. It helps control how much water is in your body and plays a key role in muscle contractions, nerve communication, and stable blood pressure. Think of sodium as the gatekeeper, managing hydration and cell-to-cell communication. Potassium works closely with sodium to maintain fluid balance. It's essential for a steady heartbeat, smooth muscle movements, and clear nerve signals. Potassium is like the calm guide, keeping everything in sync and running smoothly. Calcium is often praised for strong bones and teeth, but it's also critical for muscle contractions, including your heart, and supports nerve function and blood clotting. You can think of calcium as the builder and mover, creating strength and helping you respond to life's demands. Magnesium supports muscle and nerve function, helps maintain a regular heartbeat, stabilizes mood, and even regulates blood sugar. It's the quiet multitasker behind the scenes, keeping your energy and rhythm in flow. Chloride partners with sodium to maintain fluid balance and blood volume. It also aids in digestion by helping your stomach produce acid, keeping your internal system steady and energized. Phosphate helps your cells produce energy and works with calcium to build and repair bones and tissues. It's the internal fixer and builder, keeping your structure strong and resilient. Bicarbonate helps regulate your body's pH, making sure your internal environment doesn't swing too acidic or too alkaline. It acts like your chemical monitor, adjusting the settings to keep you balanced. So really, electrolytes aren't just a fitness thing. They're your body's backstage crew, making sure everything runs, flows, and stays in harmony every single day. So that brings me to the next question. How do we lose them? We lose electrolytes in a few different ways throughout the day. One of the most common is through sweating. Whether it's from exercise or just being out in the heat, your body releases minerals like sodium and potassium as it cools itself down. You also lose electrolytes when you go to the bathroom, since your kidneys flush out excess fluids and minerals during urination. If you've ever been sick with vomiting or diarrhea, that can cause a major drop in electrolytes too. Even intense breathing during a tough workout can lead to some loss. According to UCLA Health, most people can replenish what they lose through a balanced diet and proper hydration. So there's usually no need for sugary sports drinks or supplements unless you're dealing with extreme conditions. It's funny, all this information is helpful and interesting, but I still don't know if I should be supplementing electrolytes. But I'm curious, in my scenario, should I be taking some? So I kept looking into this. Another thing I should mention is that I actually struggle with hyperhidrosis. So if you never heard of it before, hyperhidrosis is just a fancy word for excessive sweating. And I don't mean just sweating from a workout or being outside in the heat. I wish it were that simple. People with hyperhidrosis can sweat a lot even when they're just sitting still in a cool room or not doing anything physical. It usually shows up in places like your hands, feet, underarms, or even on your face. And for some of us, it happens pretty much every day. Although for me, it hasn't been as consistent as it used to be. And I came across an article saying it's linked to an overactive sympathetic nervous system, which some of you may know that as the fight or flight response. I had a feeling it was a trauma response, which makes sense considering I lived in survival mode most of my life. But I've been doing the work over the past few years to shift more into my parasympathetic state, the rest and digest side of the nervous system. Slowly but surely, I'm finding inner peace again. Sometimes hyperhidrosis runs in families, and other times it's triggered by underlying health conditions or even medications. For me, it doesn't severely impact my quality of life, and I know it could be worse, but it can be frustrating. It can feel like you're constantly damp or changing clothes more often than you like. What I didn't know until recently, though, is how excessive sweating can deplete your electrolytes. Like, I knew I needed to drink water, and I already do. I'm an avid water drinker, but I wasn't thinking about replacing minerals I might be losing through all that sweating. According to an article on sweathelp.org called Preventing Dehydration, if you have hyperhidrosis, drinking more water is crucial, but so is replenishing your electrolytes. So now I'm thinking, maybe I should be supplementing. Still curious about what's best for me, but at least now I have more clarity on why electrolytes even matter for someone like me. According to university hospitals, while most people can stay hydrated with water alone during their usual day-to-day routines, there are times when electrolyte supplementation isn't just helpful, it can be necessary. If you're doing extended workouts, spending time in high heat, or naturally prone to heavy sweating, your body can lose a significant amount of sodium, potassium, and other key minerals. If those electrolytes aren't replaced, it can lead to symptoms like muscle cramps, fatigue, headaches, dizziness, or in more serious cases, nausea, confusion, or even seizures. In those situations, supplementing with electrolytes can help restore balance and support proper nerve and muscle function, hydration, and overall recovery. So how much do we actually need? According to Tonal, most healthy adults meet their needs through a balanced diet, especially if it includes fruits, veggies, dairy, whole grains, and lean proteins. Daily recommendations are about 2,300 milligrams of sodium, 4,700 milligrams of potassium, 1,000 milligrams of calcium, and around 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium. But if you're sweating more than average, following a low-carb diet, or recovering from things like illness or intense physical activity, you may need extra support. In those cases, supplementing with electrolytes can help maintain fluid balance and energy levels. Just keep in mind, more isn't always better. Too much, especially sodium, can cause bloating, blood pressure spikes, or other imbalances. So as always, it comes down to listening to your body and finding out what works best for you. Recognizing the signs of low electrolytes is key to keeping your body in balance. According to the International Hyperhidrosis Society, symptoms like muscle cramps, twitching, increased thirst, poor endurance, salt cravings, and irritability can all be red flags. The Cleveland Clinic also notes that fatigue, headaches, irregular heartbeat, nausea, and even numbness or tingling in the hands and feet can signal an imbalance. One super helpful tip: pay attention to your sweat and your pee. If you notice white streaks or salt residue on your clothes after sweating, that can mean you're losing a lot of sodium. And your urine color, a light yellow color usually means you're well hydrated. But if your urine is too dark, you might be dehydrated, and if it's totally clear all the time, you might actually be overhydrating. You're being an overachiever. You need to calm down. It's all about staying aware and finding that sweet spot where your body feels nourished, energized, and in balance. Aside from getting electrolytes through food, there are a few other great ways to help your body replenish what it's lost. Especially if you've been sweating a lot or just feeling run down, one of the easiest options is making your own DIY electrolyte drink at home. According to the Cleveland Clinic, ingredients like coconut water, citrus juice, salt, raw honey, and even ginger can all come together to naturally boost hydration and mineral balance. A simple homemade version I like is 1 to 2 cups of water, pinch of sea salt or Himalayan salt, a squeeze of lemon, and a little bit of raw honey if you want some extra flavor or natural energy. It's quick, affordable, and free of anything artificial. Another surprisingly effective option is pickle juice. It's packed with sodium and also offers potassium and magnesium, sometimes even more than store-bought sports drinks. You can also reach for salty snacks like pretzels or salted nuts to help replace sodium after sweating. I recently started using Liquid I.V as an electrolyte supplement. And honestly, I enjoy the taste, but I have noticed after a couple of days in a row, the flavor starts to taste a little off to me. So you gotta drink it at least within 2 days. So I like to switch it up. What I appreciate about Liquid I.V is its clean ingredient profile. It contains essential electrolytes like sodium and potassium, along with vitamins B3, B5, B6, B12, and C to support energy, metabolism, and overall health. The product uses naturally sourced flavors and stevia leaf, hard word, leaf extract for sweetness, avoiding artificial colors and preservatives. Plus, it's non-GMO and gluten-free, making it a convenient option for those seeking a quick hydration boost. Electrolyte powders and tablets are also super convenient, especially post-workout or when you're recovering from illness. Even hydrating foods like watermelon, cucumbers, oranges can help, and adding a pinch of salt can actually boost their effect. So if you're not getting enough through meals alone, there are plenty of easy ways to give your body the extra support it needs. Alright, that's a wrap and today's deep dive into electrolytes. From what they are, how they work, how to know when you're low, and the different ways to keep your body balanced and supported. I hope this episode helped you understand just how much these tiny minerals actually do for us, and how simple it can be to stay on top of your hydration in a more intentional way. Whether you're sipping on your DIY lemon salt drink, enjoying some avocado toast, or reaching your favorite electrolyte mix, you're taking steps to support your energy, your focus, and your overall well-being, and that's what it's all about. As always, thank you for tuning in, spending time with me. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share it with someone who might need a hydration reminder, or leave a comment and let me know what you think. I would appreciate some feedback, insights, or ideas. Stay grounded, stay hydrated, and thank you for listening. Take care of yourself. Peace out.